to my talk. So, at the start of my talk, I'm going to pose a question to you. What is innovation and what does innovation mean to you? Today, we normally think of innovation as the next big idea, the next biggest tech company, and so forth. However, I want us to take a step back. Let's look at innovation through the lens of problem solving. Yet again, today, developed nations set precedents, an example for developing nations to follow. However, what else can we learn from developing nations that can inform our knowledge on how to make the world a better place? Throughout the presentation and talk, I bring examples from entrepreneurs, model countries, and global scenarios that require us to work together to achieve this purpose. Yet again, as I talk today, I want you to think, what can you possibly do to solve your community problems? And what are you doing to promote the sustainable development of humanity? Right. So I start with road safety. And why is road safety important? Well, one, it's because I come from Uganda, a very beautiful country in East Africa. However, we do have a challenge. One of the biggest causes of mortality come from road traffic incidents, also known as road traffic accidents. 50% of these accidents occur on borders. What's a border? These are local transportation means. They're motorcycles that people use for transportation. So I recall upon one experience that I have where I witnessed a rider, a mother, and her baby get involved in an accident. The rider was fortunate enough to miss the car collision, but all of them ended up on the floor. The rider flew off the bicycle, the mother flew off the motorcycle, and the child was left skidding on tarmac. Such an event has scarred me for life. So just as you can see in the image on the left, you can see a rider with 4 children, and with himself inclusive, that makes it 5 people on a machine meant for 2 people. This is why I move forward to understand what did entrepreneurs do, or what did the change maker do in their community to solve this problem. So here I primarily look at Safe Border. Safe Border is like an Uber for motorcycles in Uganda, and they carried out a different approach, a different strategy that first primarily saves lives. 2, they made helmets mandatory, not just for the rider, but also for the passenger. They only accept carriage of 1 passenger, meaning there was less likelihood of an accident. They also ensure that there was proper certification, and they also take the riders through a training program. This all, in the end, shows there was total observance of traffic laws. And what do we see as the outcome? Safe border riders are 39% less likely to be involved in a crash, hence more lives are being saved. I move forward to education. How does education play a role in helping us solve community challenges? I specifically look at the United States of America, focusing on the University of Rochester, where I've acquired my 4 years of college education, and specifically reflecting on my experience working in an innovation center called the Barbara J. Barger iZone, located in the library, the changemaker hub in our university. So we clearly need creativity in the education sector. How do we achieve this? Through design thinking. Design thinking, this is a reiterative process to solving problems. 1, you begin by empathizing with your user or customer, understanding their pain points. Move forward to define a problem statement, brainstorm multiple ideas, select one which you'll prototype, and then you test to get feedback from your users in order to go through the cycle again. I recall an experience I've had at the university where I was given an opportunity to teach about 70 students from different African countries, and they use a design thinking methodology to solve cross-sector problems ranging from education, health, infrastructure, amongst others. One team specifically comes to mind when they were solving a challenge in a place in Tanzania. There were schoolgirls, walking long distances from home to school. Along the way, they would at times experience sexual harassment. So in order to prevent this, the team came up with an idea to create housing closer to the schools. So moving forward, we need diversity and inclusion in our team dynamics. Just as the US built its economy by having people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and cultures, so do we need this in our team. The diversity brings multiple perspectives. And of course, with multiple perspectives, there's conflict. But there's beauty in this conflict because as it's getting solved, we get the most well-rounded and usually the best idea. Moving forward, we need to critically look at data and numbers in figuring out our problems. In order to get the best impact, we need to understand what the statistics say so that we're creating the solution that caters towards the problem. Lastly, one of the things I greatly appreciate with the US education has been the emphasis of the girl child in education. This is why I urge all policymakers, change makers, and people in positions of authority to ensure there's a good infrastructure for girls to attain a great education. All right, moving forward, I look at sustainability. As you're all aware, we're in an era of global warming, and we're exploiting our natural resources to extents that we do not understand and how it will affect us. I specifically look at Costa Rica as a country because I've lived there and I've seen some of their renewable practices that are actually being implemented and are helping their current life standards. They made a goal that by 2021, they would generate electricity without a single watt from hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are chemical compounds that come from fossil fuels that cause health issues, such as cancer. So as we promote sustainability, it's not just for the environment, but for the improvement of human health. In the last 30 years, they've used renewable energy, such as wind and solar, to make up 93% of their energy needs. I come from a country where we still use firewood and charcoal to meet our energy needs. And as we move into a sustainable future, I hope to see more renewable energy practices, and this is why I'm particularly taking research into solar energy to create another alternative. 30% of Costa Rica's territory is protected natural land, meaning that upcoming generations will partake in their biodiversity. They have an organization that assigns businesses with leaves for eco-friendly practices. If a business has one leaf, it means they barely practice any eco-friendly practices, versus having 5 leaves, showing that they're fully committed to eco-friendly practices. And this builds better trust between customer and the business. Over the past 25 years, they've tripled their GDP while doubling forest cover. I recall in Uganda before, as a young child, driving with my parents a long distance over miles and miles of forest cover. However, right now, if I do the same today, the forest cover has greatly diminished. And I hope moving forward, we can have a better understanding of economic growth as well as environmental sustainability. So as leaders, the goals we set matter, and the environment is part of our values. I move forward to community service and reflect on my experience in a United World College. Here, their mandate is to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. So here I urge my fellow peers and others in higher education to make community service compulsory in college education. Why? Because it creates a standing commitment to improving the community, it bridges the class gap, promotes social empathy, and builds social trust. I can recall certain examples of what I did at the school, such as cleaning trash from beaches, rehabilitating a nursery school in the countryside, rehabilitating a forest reserve, amongst others, such as other practices my peers did, including supporting the disabled, teaching others better new languages in the community. And all these actions still today motivate me to encourage my peers to create new initiatives and startups for people to make an impact in their community or environment. Lastly, I talk of healthcare management. As you're aware, today, we're going through a global pandemic, the COVID-19 virus. It has affected millions of lives and claimed hundreds of thousands. However, together we can make this stop. I greatly urge you all to stay at home to save other lives. I fully send my appreciation to the health staff at the front lines of combating this virus. Lastly, I urge governments to look into using data and artificial intelligence to understand the spread of the virus and how to better curb it to protect our lives. So in the end, what are the key takeaways? 1, innovation is problem solving. 2, we need educational-based innovation, meaning education should be deeply rooted in our educational system. 3, environmental sustainability is a value. And in order for you to create and solve your community problems, as well as promote the sustainable development of humanity, we all need to work together through collaboration. Thank you.